Oh shoot. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life of Lauren featuring Elijah. When I was pregnant with this little guy, I had so many questions about postpartum. What's it going to be like? What products are the best? Because there's so many options. So today I just want to go over what worked for me in terms of breastfeeding, taking care of all the stitches that I have, all kinds of stuff that I just wish I knew before, what helps him sleep the best, all those things. So let's get into it. So one of the first pieces of advice that I want to give you that helped me so much was I went to Walmart and bought one of these brown bins. It's like a 3-tiered bin. It was only, I think, like $17, and I put it directly in front of my toilet because you're gonna be bleeding. That's just the reality, and the last thing you want to do is have to be changing everything, reaching for stuff under your drawers. Like, you just want it really functional and right in front of you. So this served as like my postpartum kit, a really huge kit, I guess you could say. But another thing that I want to mention, and I'm just gonna embarrass myself online for the sake of helping someone, is you're gonna want stool softeners. So like I mentioned, I have a lot of stitches that they're all together. At some point, you're gonna have to poop, and that's just the reality, and it freaking hurts, okay? It hurts. I don't want you to go through that. I like almost cried because it was so painful, and this is like a thing. It's not uncommon, so save yourself as much pain as possible, and once you give birth, start taking stool softeners. You're welcome. Next, there's a lot of talk about the Freedom Mom boy shorts, which they did serve their purpose. But more than anything, I prefer the diaper because the diaper is stretchy, it's comfortable, it's a nice fabric. The only time I use the Freedom Mom boy shorts is the times that I was honestly bleeding a lot, because you have to put like this thick pad, and like it's huge. Look at that. That's a huge pad, and you have to put it in this, and it's just really bulky. But if you're bleeding a lot and you don't want to keep using a new diaper because they're expensive, you can just put on the boy shorts and continue changing the pad overnight or throughout the day until you kind of have less of a heavy flow, I guess. I know it's not a period, but once you stop bleeding less, I just find it to be so functional, so convenient, and so much more comfortable to wear this diaper. I never bought that Freedom Mom bottle that like sprays up, because this one you have to spray down. If I could go back, I'd probably go and buy that, because it's just harder to angle and clean down there because you can't use toilet paper for, like, they recommended me the whole 6 weeks, but like that kind of depends on how well you're healing or not. Anyway, the one that sprays up, you probably know what I'm talking about if you're on this video, is I think would have been really convenient, whereas this one just took a little bit more work to clean you appropriately. Things I saw on a lot of different videos, which I never really personally had to use, and I bought a lot of, were the tucks. The Freedom Mom comes with some of those as well, like those, it's the same concept. And then this Dermoplast itch and burn spray. I tried this at the very beginning when I got my stitches, but I honestly didn't burn, thank God, because that just sounds horrible. Towards the end, now that everything's starting to heal, there is some itchiness, so I've used this like a few times, but I didn't really need these as much as I thought I did. I also didn't need these ice packs. I thought I was gonna be needing tons of ice packs, because if you see some people, like, it's layered. They have the diaper, the tucks, the spray, the big huge ice pad. And I just really didn't need all of that. I think there was one time that I was like in a lot of pain, so I did use this ice pack. Otherwise, these aren't things that I needed as much as I thought I would. So I talked about what worked for me, what was functional for me. Now I want to talk about what helped us so much with a newborn. First of all, you need this thing. In my past video, I talked about things I thought would be helpful when I had a baby, and I was spot on with this one. The Snuggle Me is incredible, like absolutely incredible. The day we brought him home, we put him in this right away, and literally his body like shaped to this. He just loved it. I think it kind of squeezed him in and made him feel safe. So this is something he naps in so frequently. you need this thing. Next is this bassinet. Since we're talking about sleeping, I love this bassinet because the side of it comes down, so it gives that effect that he's like still in the bed with us. I'm able to, sometimes I'll literally sleep way down here, so I'm like face to face with him, because in the beginning you are like, is he breathing? Is he okay? It's kind of funny because when you have a newborn, if they're not sleeping, you're like, why are they not sleeping? And if they are sleeping, you're like, something's wrong, they're sleeping, like they're sleeping too much. So this just gave me that peace of mind a little bit. Now it's better. Now I don't worry about it and I'm like, please go to sleep. But this gave me that peace of mind that he was really close with me, but still like not in any sort of danger by sleeping in the bed with us. You also are really going to want to have something in your room where you can change the baby right away if he's sleeping in the same room as you, because we do have a changing table in his room, which we use that every single day. But at nighttime, we don't want to walk way over there. So in here, I just have like a little pad so he doesn't get poop on our bed or pee, wipies and diapers, that sort of thing. But this just makes it so much better to quickly change him in the middle of the night and then put him right back to sleep. Next, when you see your baby at the hospital getting swaddled, you think it's so easy. The nurses are like pros at it. They're like just putting him together real quick and putting him to sleep. And it's not that when you get home, unless you're better at swaddles than Josiah and I. But I really recommend one of these like Velcro swaddles. That is the best option because you can swaddle them as tightly as they need to be. And like, for example, our baby, Elijah, really doesn't like his arms swaddled. Actually, he doesn't like being swaddled much in general. So this makes the process easier because we can just put him in really quick, close it, instead of like trying to do the whole swaddle thing. So highly recommend a Velcro swaddle. Something that was super helpful, which I recommend, is make sure that your baby's sleepers or pajamas, whatever you want to call them, have 2 zippers. And why I say that is when you're changing them at night, Elijah's usually like screaming, he hates being changed, it's cold for him. So if you can just unzip his bottom half and keep the top half of him warm, it just makes it flow a lot easier and he doesn't have to be screaming so loud or be so uncomfortable when you have this. We even have other pajamas that I think are super soft but don't have the zipper, and I find myself not using them as much because this is just way more convenient. Last but not least, the thing I want to talk to you about the most is breastfeeding, because girl, this has been the hardest part of like this parenting thing so far. Not parenting, but just with the newborn, like breastfeeding is very difficult. So I think if you have like the more tools and the more useful things you have, the better, because you're gonna want to quit. And probably every day, honestly, there's one time that I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. Or maybe I'll just pump. Maybe I'll just give him from a bottle because it's that difficult. But it gets easier. It's not so painful anymore for me. And I think I'm almost past the painful phase. But let's start off with the first thing that really was a game changer for me. It's this breastfeeding pillow. I know there's the boppy that just goes right here. It doesn't even compare to this because this straps onto you. And so not only is it like super secure, but it also has back support. And with the boppy, I find that the baby falls through right here, and then you're like trying to breastfeed and he's falling, and it's a mess, okay? Especially if you're trying to get him to latch. So this is just the best. You can get it on Amazon. This is called a breast friend, okay? Not a best friend, a breast friend. And I highly suggest it. It's not even that expensive. I think it was like $30 or $40. Next, I want to talk about your sore nipples, because they're going to be in so much pain. Literally, some people lose pieces of their nipples. Like, this is no joke. They get so chapped. So there's all kinds of creams and stuff that you can put on your nipples, but there's nothing that I've found to work as effectively as just plain coconut oil. So what you're going to do, how you apply this, you're either going to take your cloth nipple pad, or is that what it's called? A nipple pad? Nursing pad. You're going to take a nursing pad, whether it be the cloth one or one of these ones that's like disposable, which this is the best disposable brand. I've tried 3 different ones, but I don't know how to say that. Lancina, you see it. These ones are the best, but I also really like the cloth ones. Anyway, you put them on your nipple, right? And then you take, is this ghetto? I use a spoon. You get the spoon and you just drench your nipple and then cover it. and you like literally have them take a bath in this stuff all day to avoid losing a piece, getting them super chapped, the pain that comes with breastfeeding. This is going to be like your lifesaver also. Next, I want to talk about pumping. I actually really like pumping. The greatest tip I can give you for pumping in terms of what kind of pump to use, start by asking your doctor to make a referral to get you a free pump. This was completely free for me. I saw online it was like $200, so that's awesome. I actually really love this pump. It's the Zomi. You just charge it and then you can like, it's a portable charger. So that was awesome. Ask your doctor. But there's also things you can do to build up your milk supply. You've probably already heard of the Haka, which is pretty good, but the LV, like it doesn't even, like this can't even compete with LV. This is $60, but I think it's worth it. So while you're breastfeeding on one side, you do have letdown. So milk is just falling on the other side no matter what. So you might as well catch it with something. This one, you just kind of suction it to your breast and then it catches all the extra milk. Well, it also pumps for you a little bit. So every time, whatever I get with this, I just start putting it in a bottle. And then once I've accumulated enough for a full bottle, I'll freeze it. And that's how I have been able to build up a supply. Again, this one, some people really love this. I think it's $20, which is really reasonable. Just to give you some insight on how to use it, you flip it over like that, squeeze it, put it to your nipple, and it like suctions it in. This one, you just attach it, also suction it in, just press down, and they're both pretty simple. I highly recommend the LV if you're willing to spend that money. There's two types of bottles I really like to use for my newborn. There's this Avent, I think that's how you say it, bottle, and then there's the Dr. Brown, which he's eating with right now, so I can't show you. But these ones are so important to use because I was just using like a generic bottle, and when he would drink, literally he gulped half of what he should have been drinking in one gulp, and that's really bad. He got sick from that, like he started throwing up or whatever. So you want a bottle for newborns so that it's more like a nipple and it comes out slower, so they're not like choking on everything, or so there's not tons of room in the nipple on here for air to come through, because then they can get like really gassy and then it's painful for them. So that's something I never considered, is specific bottles for newborns, so definitely get those. And last but not least, this is like a portable mini cooler for my breast milk. So when we go to church, for example, I would rather like feed him with a bottle that I pumped instead of breastfeeding in church. Just my own personal preference, and it's more convenient. So this thing is awesome. It comes with like a little cooling pack, or you can buy your own, and then you just put your breast milk in there. It keeps it cool a little bit longer so that you can actually go places and not be worried about your breast milk going bad. So if you're not expecting a baby or planning to have a baby, that was probably the most boring video that you've seen me do. But if you are expecting to have a baby, which this is for you, I hope that was as informative as possible. I know that was like tons of information, but these are the things that worked for me and that I found to be the best fit for me through trial and error. So if I can help you not use and spend tons of money on things that just weren't the best option for me, I just really hope that this benefits you in the way that it's benefited me, and that you can take the shortcut. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're an expecting mom, I'm so excited for you. Keep trying with breastfeeding. It's all just like a lot. It's all new, but 1 month in, my baby will be 1 month tomorrow, and it's gotten significantly easier. I'm so lucky to have a partner who's so helpful. So make sure that your partner helps you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe, comment if you have any tips that work for you so that other moms watching this video can use that information as well. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video.